All right, little follow-up on this spare motor that I have. I've got the heads all disassembled and cleaned. I've used a razor blade to get all the gasket off. I still want to clean it up a little bit more. I've got the heads cleaned up. I still got a couple of broken studs I'm going to take out at some point. I should actually start spraying some penetrating oil and let these sit for multiple days before I get to that level. So this video here, I'm just going to go ahead and do some honing on these cylinders. I'm just going to use some WD-40 as like a lubricant slash cleaner. I picked up a new, just a Harbor Freight cheapy hone here. It'll probably be junk by the end of honing these cylinders, but we've got some fresh blocks on them. They'll probably wear down pretty quick. We'll see. I put it in just by hand and spun it around a couple of times, and it seemed pretty aggressive to the point where it's not going to take much. So I think we're, like I said, in pretty good shape here. So the idea of honing or deglazing is it cuts down kind of this really shiny surface. So this is really shiny. So what ends up happening is when you put your new rings in, the rings just kind of follow along with the contours of what's there, and they never really set in perfectly all around the edges to the exact shape, down to the micro thousandths of an inch that it should. So the reason you hone it is you give it a little bit of a texture, almost like a sandpaper texture, a very fine sandpaper texture. And then in your first, X number of hours or, whatever, the first little bit of time, it actually, that sandpaper effect sands the rings or wears the rings just that little bit of an amount to make them match up and seat really nicely with the cylinder that they're in, because nothing's exactly perfect and all that. So they're off just by this micro little bit, and that makes them fit just perfectly to have the best seal of your compression and your oil and all that stuff. So that's why you do that. And that's what we're going to do. And then we'll put a new set of just factory stock rings in here, go through the little break-in process, and then they should seal really good and be in good shape and get a good another at least 100,000 miles out of this motor is my plan. And yeah, so that's what we're at. Let me get a light right now so I can show you the beginning stages of what we're dealing with, what it looks like. Okay, those scratches in there are just me from running the hone lightly just to kind of see how out of round from top to bottom the cylinder was, because it can like wear more like here than it is here. Like basically the circle could be smaller here and bigger here. By having a nice straight edge up and down like this going this way, the hone block, it's going to show your low spots. So made contact here and it made contact here, but you can see it's still shiny right in here, which is the heart of where the rings are. So that's worn just a little bit. And the idea is we're going to run that hone till this works its way in and we have little to no shiny spots left. We want it to be all a nice even silver color throughout the whole thing. So hopefully that's showing up nice on camera, what we're starting with. There is some scratches you can see in this cylinder up and down. It is a little bit enough that I can just about catch it with my fingernail. I'm hoping that hones out. We'll see. I believe it will. That seems to be the worst cylinder. This one I haven't done anything to yet. Same with this one. Looks like it's got a spot here that's we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's the beginning of what they look like. All right, let's have at it. Wow, that wasn't much. You saw how quick that was. And that's pretty much almost done. I'm going to do a little bit more, but that's pretty much an even sheet already with nice cross hatches. I'm going to do maybe another 30 seconds or so, and that cylinder is going to be done. So I'm going to blast through these pretty quickly. And let's see if I come up with one. Let's see what this one looks like. Like I said, this one's got some scrapes in it, so we're going to have to do a little more on that one. So we'll see how it goes. But that's a good indication that there's not a ton of wear in these cylinders. You see that? That can just fell off there, and look at that. Had to land just right to break the cap like that. They should make those more durable. I mean, you're using this stuff in a work environment. You think they'd make them a little stronger. You can see I still got a little bit of scratches there. I'm going to work it a little bit more. But again, you can see the difference, how it's got like a silver dull look to it as opposed to that. This isn't taking much, so. All right, that'll be it for this cutting in, and we're going to go ahead and blast through all 8, and then I'll come back and show you all the cylinders at the end. Got a little scrape there, minor scrape there. Pretty much though, close to perfect. A couple of spots that might work a little bit more, but that's pretty much what you need right there. It's not going to be absolutely perfect. You can see there's a spot right there. That was a little bit low, kind of a stress point probably, but that's going to seat the new rings in just fine with very minimal loss. So that's it, guys. That's it on honing deglazing cylinders. Like I said, I'm doing a little bit more. My hone's just about worn out. It goes quick, especially these inexpensive ones. You can see there's barely anything left on the pads. So I got a little bit more on this, but then that'll be it. They'll start falling apart and I'll have nothing. So after this, I'm just going to use a straight edge and clean up these surfaces, and that'll be it. We'll be getting to reassembly. All right, guys, thanks for watching.